Nothing this offseason.
Brought to you by Bigelow Tea, Corona, Gravely Zero Turn Lawnmowers, Jackson Lumber, Team Impact, Blue Moon Belgian White, and FindMassMoney.gov. On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
And a shot, that's going to be fair. Off the tarp. Here comes the run. Long will score, and the Red Sox will walk it off. 5-4, the final score tonight in 12 innings. On a bullet down the line. Red Sox with a second walk-off. Roman Gonzalez just inside first base.
Huge right there. That's their first come-from-behind win.
That's how it ended at Fenway Park last night. Red Sox beat the Tampa Bay Rays in extra innings. 5-4 was the final score. And you know what the most stunning part of that game is? Jimmy Stewart, did you catch the detail on that game that Kevin Youkilis gave us?
I did.
First come-from-behind victory all season. My God.
How do they categorize that? It's if you're losing after 7 or the 7th inning on?
I think it's if you're losing at any point in the game, Jared.
Oh, okay. So whatever the record was, I believe they were like 0-14 when losing after 7 or something like that.
I mean, that is freaking embarrassing.
Well,
embarrassing. Like
bullpens are really good these days, man.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Anyway, that is Jared Carrabis presented.
Surprised Youkilis got past. Wow.
Jared Carrabis presented by Blue Moon Belgian White. Be sure to relax and enjoy the ball game with a Blue Moon Belgian White, especially when the Red Sox are failing to come from behind. Blue Moon, born in a ballpark and brewed for baseball. I think the Red Sox are now 2 games over 500? Something like that?
Yeah.
22-20 for those keeping score at home.
Okay, something like that. Red Sox are 2 games over 500. But as we like to do, Jared's with us every week. And also, I'll just tell you, we're only with you for a half hour tonight. So if you want to call, you got to do so quickly. Otherwise, you're going to get 22 minutes of Jared Carrabis. Woo. Okay, so let me say this. And every week I send Jared a text, anything in particular you want to talk to or talk about tonight. He then gives me an answer, and more often than not, I try to tee him up or we'll hit on the significant issues with the Red Sox. But I have found myself of late calling people in and around the team. Let me change that. Around the team, mostly media people. Okay, I don't want to make it sound like I'm talking to people in the front office. Because the question I'm asking media people that I'm speaking with, is there anything remotely interesting going on with the Red Sox right now? Most of them are saying no. But you offered a question that I do think is worthy of discussion. I think it's an excellent question. And that is what, Jared?
What are we watching this team for? What's the goal?
No, you mean that literally.
Yes. What's the goal?
Right. You're not saying, why am I wasting my time?
No.
You're saying, right.
How should my focus be directed?
Correct. So let me read the text you sent today. What are the Red Sox playing for right now? At this point, is it for a playoff spot? Is it a winning record? Is it development? And development of who? Okay, so that literally the question is, what is the reason to watch the Red Sox right now? Right? That's what you're getting at.
What's the carrot that I'm chasing?
Correct. What is the goal? Mm-hmm. Answer your own question.
Ooh. So I took some heat for this because I kind of had this rant on the podcast last week where I was going off about how I was like, I just feel like the bar within fans, particularly the younger fans, is so low that it's, I don't want to say embarrassing, but I don't get.
Say embarrassing. It's okay.
It's a little embarrassing. Like when you're just saying, like, because I'm sitting here saying, man, at the time I believe they were either 500 or a game over, and I was like, you got a 4-game set with Tampa coming in here, where if it doesn't go well, you will find yourself now in 4th place, and this is 5 years of a 500 record, and I'm frustrated, and I'm a little bored, and I'm uninspired, and I'm trying to, and you know, Milliken came back and Steve came back, and they were like, well, you know, you have Garrett Whitlock and you have Tanner Houck and you have Cutter Crawford and all these guys are pitching well. I'm like, that's great. But they just had a stretch where the ERA was like 3.30 and they went 1-6 or something like that because the offense stinks. I'm like, you know, I'm sitting here watching these 4A lineups get trotted out, and that's great. I do enjoy the pitching performances, but if you're a fan and your mindset is, well, I've lowered my expectations. It's baseball season. I'm just happy to be watching baseball, and I'm happy to see, these young starters are turning a corner and they're pitching well. I'm like, that's great and all. I want to win the game. I want to have these pitching performances translate into victories, into movement upwards into the standings, to then be able to talk about a playoff spot and things of that nature. It irks me when I hear some of these other fans talk about, like, I'm just enjoying the season because the pitching's been so good. Great. Are they winning those games? Like, what's the Red Sox record when Cutter Crawford pitches? He's been outstanding. The record is awful when he takes the mound. So they're just wasting. You can still be happy and excited that the pitchers are turning a corner, but then when you look at the lineup card, and you're like, half these guys should be in Worcester. That's just the
no, it's the
reality.
truth, Jared.
Yeah, and I was complaining about the team being starless, and I said, yeah, Rafael Devers is a star. What about after that? When people wanted to throw out the example of, you've sat through seasons like this before and blah, 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 blah. Those seasons had David Ortiz, they had John Lester, they had Dustin Pedroia. Like, all these other teams, maybe they didn't meet the mark. Maybe they didn't have a winning record. Maybe they didn't finish in first or second or win a playoff spot. They still you had a reason to tune in. You're like, all right, cool. Like, they may not win tonight, but I get to watch David Ortiz and Dustin Pedroia and John Lester's on the mound tonight. Like, you just don't have that right now. Like, it's hard to watch them and be like, yep, like I see where this is going.
No, in fact, if you're a fan, not only is it hard, I'd go so far as to say it's damn near impossible, unless you are a complete baseball addict. And even then, I question it. Let me just throw some of the names at you, okay? So just to play the game, and you tell me, like, if someone says, well, they're building for the future, okay, tell me who. Okay, tell me who.
It's mostly pitchers.
So it is. So let me just read some of the names to you. And I'm going to do this quickly, Jared, so we can move along. Are these people that will be part of your future? Chase Anderson.
No.
Brian Bale.
Yes.
Brennan Bernardino. No. No, he's 32. No.
Okay.
He might be a bit part, but he's not part of your future.
Okay.
I'm helping you. Cam Boozer.
No.
Cutter Crawford.
Yes.
Okay, he's 28, by the way. He's not 25. But yes. Cooper Criswell.
No.
No. Tanner Houck.
Yes.
Kenley Jansen.
No.
Zach Kelly.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
He's been great, Maz.
He's 29.
Watch the games.
He's 29.
Watch
I
the
know
games,
he's
Maz.
been good. But again, you're talking about building like a
Does
championship.
he have control? Does he have team control? Yes.
Okay.
He's a yes.
Chris Martin.
No.
Nick Pivetta.
Maybe. Maybe.
So my answer is no.
Well, they're not going to pay him.
Okay, so definitely part of the future. Think about that. You won't pay Nick Pivetta.
Okay.
Justin Slayton.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Greg Weissert.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
29. Reese McGuire.
No.
Connor Wong.
Yes.
Maybe as a backup. Garrett Cooper.
No.
Okay, I don't know why you paused. Rafael Devers.
Yes.
Romy Gonzalez.
No.
Vaughn Grissom.
Maybe.
Maybe. David Hamilton.
No on Grissom.
Sedan Rafaela.
Yes.
Dominic Smith.
No.
Wilyer Abreu.
Yes.
Jaron Duran.
Maybe.
Okay, he is 27.
Right.
But maybe. Tyler O'Neill.
No.
He's 28, but no.
I think is he up after this year?
I think he is. Yeah. Rob Refsnyder.
No.
How many guys did we say yes to? 7?
Yeah, I was going to say roughly 7.
Okay, so 75% of the team is guys you will have nothing to do with in the long term when you are good again.
Yeah, when you're ready to not win a championship, make the playoffs. The next time you're ready to make the playoffs, the team will look very different, but it'll have some pieces. And the reason why
they really have built, you said 4A a second ago, they really have built a 4A team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me take a couple of calls just because some people are on the line. I don't want to leave them holding. John in Lexington. John, quickly, please.
Yep, I was just wondering, it was basically what you guys just talked about, but is there any, immovable piece? Who is really the centerpiece of this roster? Or is really anybody could go if we get the right guy?
Casas. Casas is the immovable guy for me. Yeah, he's cornerstone bat. He's a freak. He is baseball obsessed. He has the DNA of what you want. I think that there's some leadership stuff there, and he's got the size.
So you'd move Devers?
I don't. No, But like, I don't think that it's not like he's immovable. I don't think that anyone would want him
because of the contract.
Yeah, like he profiles as a DH like very soon. So yeah, like they're going to look at the defense. They're going to look at the fact that he will be a DH somewhere down the line. They're going to look at the contract and be like you're not going to be able to, like, moving Devers doesn't help you move forward.
Good.
Casas would, but I'm not doing that.
I want to continue with your phone calls. I think it's an interesting question. Really, and I'm not blowing smoke up Jared's ass, but the way he put it today, because I'm having a hard time digging into the games. Other than the starting pitchers, I have very little interest in the roster. There aren't many guys here that I think are going to be a significant part of their future.
Especially with Casas hurt. Like, that was the one thing that I was talking about going into the season, where I was already complaining about what am I going to care about this season, and I landed on Casas as like my number one pick. Like, this is what I'm going to be, at least I said a breakout season for Cutter Crawford. We're getting it. And Tristan Casas, and he's injured. I don't know when we're expecting to see him, but it is glaringly noticeable that he's not there.
I mean, you need some sort of long-term connection to the team. You need that as a fan. You have to say, well, they're building something. This is going somewhere. They're getting better every year, and there's a championship in sight. I don't see the championship in sight yet. I don't know what the real goal is. They're so early in the stages of this thing. And then there's the other question, and inevitably this gets back to ownership. But let's say they are rebuilding from within. Are you confident that the Red Sox, when it comes time, are going to pay again? Are you confident in that? Because I'm not. I have no idea where that's going. They say that when they feel like it's time to spend, they'll spend. Do you believe them? Because I have a hard time trusting them or believing them at this stage. We'll continue with your calls when we come back.
Stay tuned for more of the Baseball Hour on the Sports Hub.
That's what we're going to do over the balance of the program. Again, at 6:30, we're going to Celtics pregame, and then Celtics and Cavs at 7 right here on 98.5 with Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell. So we'll take some calls in the next little bit. I am just going to ask you all to try to be quick so we can get you in and out. And Jared and I will obviously engage in your thoughts and commentary. But I want to try to get you all in, so please just try to be quick. Kevin in the car. Kevin, what do you got?
Hey, yeah. The reason I still watch, it's not an exciting product, but I think if they get Devers hot, if Cassius comes back and he's healthy, Jaron Duran starts playing a little bit better. I mean, you have one of the best pitching rotations in the league, which was unexpected coming in, and Tyler O'Neill's playing the best baseball of his career. I actually think they have a chance at creeping into the playoffs.
Okay, so look, it's an interesting way of looking at it, and good for you for being an eternal optimist. I'm not. I'll believe it when I see it. You, Jared.
The whole thing with Tyler O'Neill is there's a lot of strikeouts recently. There's no denying that he's had some pop. Duran is who he is, and he's very streaky, but when he gets hot, he gets hot. And then with Devers, I mean, the health this year has been very questionable. So the guys that you highlighted, yes, I agree with you. If they all get hot at the same time, you're looking at a completely, and you mentioned Casas coming back and being healthy and not re-injuring himself, because that is a tricky injury that he went down with. Those four guys, if they're on, the lineup is completely different. Like, that is a very formidable pairing of offensive threats. But as of right now, they're all just very streaky.
The scenario he just painted, that if they get healthy and their pitching holds up, they could actually sneak into the playoffs. Do you believe it?
Yeah.
What percent do you believe it?
The odds of it actually happening?
Yeah.
Oh, like 10.
Okay. So again, it's a hard thing to sort of cling to at the moment. Ask me in 2 months. Martin in Texas. Martin, go ahead.
Yeah, guys, they denied it in the offseason about not wanting to put too much pressure on Teal, Meyer, and Roman Anthony, but I think that's exactly what they're doing without even saying anything or doing that. They're relying on these guys to come up and just be the saviors for the team when, if you watch any Portland Sea Dogs games, it doesn't even look like Meyer will be able to stick a shortstop because he's not athletic enough, and he leaves AA and errors for shortstops.
So, look, this is another thing, and I won't even get into the Meyer on defense or anything else. How far away are those guys?
I mean, I think you could see Teal this year.
Okay. And then, but how long before Teal is an established, productive major leaguer?
Probably a year after that.
Okay. So there are people out there who believe it gets serious when you start to get 2-3 years in the big leagues.
Sure.
So now we're talking, 4 years down the road?
Could be.
I mean, that's preposterous. What fan is thinking that far down the road and is getting geeked up about that?
No, especially when the wait started 5 years ago.
Well, right. So that's the other part of it. They were bad in 2019. Bloom came in for 2020. So now we're in 2024, and they're in the same spot. Mm-hmm. It hasn't changed. How do you get geeked up about that if you're a fan? Quinn in Philadelphia. Quinn, go ahead.
Should they buy or sell at the trade deadline? And who can they move? And that includes the other half of our future, which is about 2 hours north in Portland. Thanks, guys.
Okay, what do you want them to buy? Who's going to buy? Mm-hmm. You have to give up something to buy something of value. What are they going to give up?
They do have a lot of rental pieces that'll be appealing to other teams, but I also just think right now it is too soon to determine whether they'll be buyers or sellers. Because you look at the American League, there's some stiff competition, especially within your own division. Like Baltimore and New York, I feel like that's going to be a 2-horse race. I don't see a ton of separation one way or the other between those two teams going down the stretch. Is there a path to get a wild card spot? Sure. But to the caller prior, a lot of things need to go right. And when you break it down, it's not just it's going to take some luck, too, on top of it. It's not just waiting to see, is Casas going to come back? Of course he's going to come back. But when he comes back, what's he going to look like? And with Tyler O'Neill, there's just so many different things with this team that, sure, if they went right, you're looking at a pretty good baseball team. If everything went right. But so far, a lot has gone wrong.
Well, I was just going to say, Jared, and some stuff has already gone wrong.
Which is a credit to Alex Cora that he's been able to keep them 2 games over 500 with the roster that we're talking about. Like, they've yet to play a single game, and they won't play a single game with their true intended roster because Story's out for the year.
Right.
Like, we don't know what this team would have done if they were completely healthy and everything went right. A lot has gone wrong to this point, and they still have, I guess, a winning record, so that's credit to Cora.
And you just named a couple, but Whitlock's been out, Bayo's been out, Pavetta's been out. Devers missed some time. It's not like they've been healthy either. Look, the injuries as opposed to some
Everybody. They just got Vaughn Grissom back. Devers hasn't been able to play third base. Tyler O'Neill has been on the injured list. Like, everyone, like at every corner of this roster, you've had injuries. I mean, except, knock on wood, the bullpen's been pretty good with that.
Yeah. Well, Kenley Jansen looks like the picture of health. I'm sure he'll hold up. Nick's in Arlington. Nick, what do you got?
Hey, so I'm 47, been a longtime Red Sox fan, and I didn't know a third of the guys that you guys even mentioned. And then I won't spend time and money to go watch them. And my kid just turned 21. He'll go to every game because he can go for $17 and drink for the first time. So, who's really going to these games? I can't imagine spending that kind of money to go watch a team that's just no good.
Okay, so Nick, I'll tell you what. I want to leave the money part out of it, just because people bitch about this all the time, which I get. How about just watching on TV?
Tony,
okay?